Hello, friends. I am Chevy. Welcome to my shed. How are you today? How's life in your world? How's things where you are? I hope it's fantastic and wonderful and amazing. It's really beautiful here today, and we have softball tonight. So I'm recording this a little bit early, just so I can get it out before this evening because I really wanted to take a little bit of time and touch up some of the content from this week. I really love the when you ask questions and I get to answer them. I've always really loved that format, and long ago I was really hoping that that could be the driving force behind this show. I was hoping that community engagement we could just constantly have like a churn of questions and answers that I could just keep going with. But I gave all that up and did the diary thing, and so going back every now and then and saying, give me some questions that I can answer. It's fun. I really enjoy it, and I will probably, I'll tell you now. If you ever have a question, please put it in the comments, and if it's big enough that I can do a video on it, I will. But that being said, like everything I do in my life, I put no effort into this at all. That's not true. I put a lot of effort. I put no forethought. I don't plan. I just do it. I come down here and I talk. And in fact, quite a few times I come down here, I don't even have a topic. I just turn the camera on and start talking. And I think that most of you who've been here for long know that. It just happens that way. So I wanted to go back and look at some of the comments because, like I said before, I kind of, without the planning, I didn't really have lists or put a whole lot of thought into it. I just turned the camera on and started talking. So, a couple things. About the summer activities. What are your favorite summer activities? John White said bodyboard. And I don't have an ocean here, so I can't bodyboard. But when I was a kid, we used to go to my aunt's lake house for the summer and ski and raft and stuff behind the boats. And I do enjoy water activities. I haven't so much as I've grown. I don't really enjoy swimming much anymore. But my kids do, so we do that sometimes. And then we're going to go to the beach here in a couple of months, so that'll be cool. And I think that, personally, I would rather go to the beach in the winter because that's the whole point, right? Getting away from the cold. Carl from N20 also said the beach. Chris asked, what are these 4 seasons we speak of? Yeah, I mean, it's 4 distinct seasons. And in California, they have sunny days and then slightly less sunny days. So he also asked a whole bunch of questions about rifles. And I might do an episode on guns. I realize that a lot of people who watch this don't have no concept of guns, like just never really put a lot of effort into thinking about it. From where I live, there's a whole lot of sustenance hunters here. I mean, I grew up with my uncle who was a sustenance hunter and fisher. He had freezers stocked with trout and other things that he'd killed, and they ate it throughout the year. So I'm used to all of that, and I realize that not a lot of people are. But I remember when Chris answered the first time Chris asked about it, he said that he would go have a picnic, and that was one of his favorite summer activities. And I thought that was a really good idea. We used to do that when I was a kid, but you know. Okay. The real topic that I screwed up all over was the comedians. The comedian I couldn't think of, the skinny guy with the afro, is John Johnson. Josh Johnson. Josh Johnson is absolutely hilarious. Just a really cool, deadpan, young guy. Super, super funny. So I wanted to make sure I got that in here so that you all could go look him up because he's absolutely hilarious. Lots of names were mentioned that I completely forgot. Bill Burr. I do love Bill Burr. I have to be in a special mood, though, to watch one of his specials. He's angry. He's an angry guy. And so a lot of times I just kind of have to feel it. But I do love Bill Burr. And seeing him in The Mandalorian was really awesome. I really enjoyed that. Richard Pryor. I liked Richard Pryor when I was a kid. I've tried to watch him since and was kind of like, eh. I think it didn't age all that well, but I definitely know that I was into Richard Pryor when I was younger. Chris also said Bill Burr, Bert Chrysler and Tom Segura, Two Bears. Nikki Glasser. Nikki's okay. I don't mind Nikki. Jim Jeffries. I do love me some Jim Jeffries. I forgot all about him. He's absolutely hilarious. Kind of another dopey plays on his alcoholism, Australian Canadian. Joe Rogan, I've never really enjoyed Joe that much. Just didn't do it for me. Daniel Tosh, some of Daniel Tosh's early work is, I still think about it to this day. There's one bit where he does, you can't be, money doesn't buy happiness, but something about money doesn't buy happiness, but the people who say that have never bought a Wave Runner or something like that. He's like, you try to be sad on a Wave Runner, you just can't. And he does this whole little it's hilarious. I still think about that very, very often. Sarah Silverman's fine. I like her, but Jimmy Carr's hilarious. One-liner, just kind of goofball. Love his stuff. Lewis Black, and again, I love Lewis Black, but he's another one of those angry guys that you kind of have to take it. I have to be ready for it. Jim Norton's hilarious. Ron White, tater salad is damn funny. And then he said George Carlin. I didn't really get to watch a whole lot of George Carlin, but what I did, I liked. Fearsome Warrior reminded me of Robin Williams. I forgot how good Robin Williams was on stage. His stage persona was so dramatically different than all of his character work. His character work was always very clean and nice and just funny, and his stage persona was very crass and rude and just hilarious. He still does a lot of his voices and stuff, which is really fun. I don't know Natasha Leggero. Let's see. Talked about Nate Bargatze, I absolutely love. James Acaster. Jim from Great Big Table, who asked this question, it mentioned James Acaster. I was literally trying to think of James Acaster's name the entire time I recorded, because he did this 3-part special that's like this weird, bizarre, trippy story. It's absolutely hilarious. He's British, another British guy. It's totally, just look him up and watch all 3 parts. It's absolutely hilarious. There was another guy that nobody mentioned, and I forgot. He did a special. It's called 3 Mics, and for some reason I don't remember his name, but he was a writer with Chappelle. He was Chappelle's co-founder of the Chappelle Show, and he does a special called 3 Mics, and they're kind of like, one mic is serious, one mic is reflective or whatever. Like each mic has its own personality, part of his set. Absolutely phenomenal set. He also mentioned Tig Notaro. I do actually really, really, really enjoy Tig Notaro. Hannibal Buress is absolutely funny. Mike Birbiglia, I can't believe I forgot Birbigs. Birbiglia, again, he has one of those things that I think about very often, where he talks about meeting somebody in an elevator and them saying, glad you're not a serial, or, whatever. I guess he was carrying something in an elevator, and the girl says something about a rapist not doing that, and he said, you'd be surprised, or whatever. He says, what I should have said was nothing. One of my favorite. I still think about that constantly. Julian Grant, no. Christine listed a bunch of women. Sarah Silverman, Tig Notaro's in there. Amy Schumer. Fortune Feimster. Fortune is a riot. Fortune's one of the comedians that I would love to just hang out with. She is super, super, super funny. And that's it. That's it for those guys. I missed a whole lot, but I knew I would. That's just part of doing this thing completely live and random. When it comes to board games out of wood, though, some people said some ideas that I thought was, that's kind of hilariously, why didn't I think of that? For one, Crokinole. Crokinole is wood anyway. I've only played Crokinole once, and I somewhat enjoyed it. It's one of those things that you really have to spend some time. I was playing against a very experienced player, and it's like playing pool against somebody who knows how to play pool. You just get wrecked, and it was like, oh, that was cool. But I've thought about making a Crokinole board for myself. I just never gotten around to it. But one of the ones, Jim Jones from Great Big Table said a yard dice version of Can't Stop. That would be amazing. I might actually try to figure that out. I don't know how big the board, the board would have to be. I don't know. But I want to do it now. I want to see a giant version of Can't Stop, because Can't Stop is one of my absolute favorite light Sid Sackson games. I'm a huge Sid Sackson fan, so. John White mentioned that I should pair this with my next episode. The next episode being the one where I talked about the game and just do limited print runs on Kickstarter with a few hundred copies that are handmade. I've honestly thought about it. I wanted to mention that there's been quite a few times, especially when I was doing, I don't have it here, when I was doing a lot of the woodcut printing. I thought it'd be really fun to do a handcrafted woodcut print game. If I could figure out a game that I could do with just like a very small number of cards, because it would take a lot of work. If I could figure it out, I've seriously considered trying to make some just handmade, like, 10 copies ever type of game thing. Maybe I'll do that someday. I don't know. But I really appreciate all the questions this week. I really wanted to say thank you for engaging with me. It was a really fun time, and I would like to continue doing that. So if you have more questions, or if you have topics that you want to hear discussed, especially if it's something I don't know anything about, I would really like to cover things that I don't know. Like if somebody says, explain to me this, I'll go research it and try to figure it out. I would like to do that. So let me know in the comments. Thank you for being here as always. Thank you for liking, commenting, subscribing, being amazing friends and wonderful people. I really appreciate you. And I'll see you again on Monday. Today's word you should know to sound smart is florid. It is an adjective meaning excessively ornate and showy as prose. All men are really most attracted by the beauty of plain speech, and even write in florid style in imitation of this. Henry David Thoreau, an American author and transcendentalist. Florid, F-L-O-R-I-D. I do not like florid writing. I know that a lot of fantasy readers like to see florid prose. I prefer clean, minimalist writing.